Hi everyone and welcome to Productive C Sharp. In this video, I'm going to talk about the new field keyword introduced in C Sharp 14. Here I have a very simple console application. I have a class article that contains three properties: title, text, and total words. Title can be set, but it will throw an exception if the value is null. Text automatically sets total words to -1 every time the text you try to assign is different from the previous text. And total words is a calculated property that always returns the total words if it's already been calculated. Otherwise, it will calculate it by simply counting the number of words in the text. Something pretty simple. Every time in C Sharp you need to do some sort of validation or additional logic in the setter or getter of properties, you have to create backing fields like this: title, text, and total words. If you don't need to do any validation or stuff like that, you could already use auto properties. In that case, it's brilliant because the C# compiler automatically generates a backing field for you. But unfortunately, up until C# 13, you couldn't do this, any validation or additional logic without manually creating the backing field. Well, this is going to change in C# 14 because you can use a new keyword called field to automatically access the backing field created by the compiler for you. Let me explain that to you. Let me go to the project first and enable preview features of C#. This will be supported in C# 14, in .NET and 10. As soon as I do that, you can see Visual Studio automatically understand that you can actually replace this with a field keyword. If I do the refactoring pressing Alt-Enter, and I do that in the whole file, Visual Studio is going to replace these three backing fields for me using the field keyword. And let's see what happens. Boom. Now, I'm using the field keyword all over the places in these properties, and I don't need to manually create the backing fields for you. Simple as that. So it's a pretty simple feature that means now going forward, I can pretty much do anything I want inside the getter and setter of properties, and I will never need to create manually the backing field. And if I run this code, you can see this actually works, and it's printing 7 and 5. The first time I set this is a long piece of text to the text, and the total words is 7. Then I set text again with this is a new text that will kind of, as soon as I access total words, will recalculate the number of words that will be 5. So the C# 14 compiler now introduced this new keyword that you can use to basically reference the backing field automatically generated for you by the compiler. However, this is a little bit of a breaking change because it might be possible that you have a field called field in your class if you're very, very unlucky. In that case, there is a way to actually get out of that by using the at field or this dot field in order to access the actual backing field. Let's say, for example, I have a property here called private string field, okay, and I want to use it here. In this case, this is the keyword, so the C# compiler is not using this field. So if I want to use the actual manually created field, I need to use at field. However, as soon as I do that, the compiler doesn't really know what to do here for the get. So you need to actually manually tell the compiler that you want to actually return your backing field here. Okay. Alternatively, instead of using at, you could use this dot field. This dot field, that's also possible. Okay, but this is a very, very edge case. It's very unlikely that you have a field called field, but if that's the case, there is a way for you to actually fix the breaking change, and I think the compiler can help you with that as well. But if not, you don't need to declare anything in the get, and you can just use the field keyword all the time if you need to do any sort of validation. Okay, I think that's everything. So with a field keyword, now you can pretty much do anything you want inside properties and access the backing field that is automatically generated by the compiler for you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.